everyone, my name is Ariola. You can call me short Yola or Ola, and I am the embroidery specialist for high-end fashion. Today I would like to talk about embroidery, how I got into it, what is it to begin with, and what we do here. So what is embroidery? A lot of people don't know, a lot of people never heard, me including a few years back. So there's no description for it in the dictionary. It's like embroidering clothes, and it doesn't really tell you much. How is the process, what happens with it, and all that. But most of people do know what a machine is, and what you see behind me is an embroidery machine, the one that I actually work with now. So when I was taught that you're supposed to do embroidery, I just didn't know what it was. So I just had to Google it and figure out and all that. And then look where we are now. So I was working at a store in Beverly almost 5 years ago as a store manager, and among a lot of other tasks, embroidery was one other thing. So I was just put on the embroidery room, and they showed me the machines and all that, and they told me that if you could make this running, it would be great. Yeah, right? It was such an easy task, right? So it seemed impossible at the time, but I just started getting into it by first learning what embroidery was. And there's a lot of material out there. I saw a lot of videos explaining what it was and how you could work with it. And also went into a lot of manuals, every day, literally for I would say 7-8 months. I took every possible machine manual and explanatory videos, demonstrative videos on the internet, on different websites that show you how to actually embroider, tricks and tips, what do's and don'ts, what to do and what not, and all types of that. Obviously, not everything is out there, so you gotta do your own research, and that's what I did. I took every possible literature material that I could get at the time, and I would read 2 to 3 hours every day and also every weekend. And that was for 8 months straight right after work. So after working for 8 hours, I would do that on the side to get to learn. So, and it was successful. It was successful because I started to run all the embroidery machine. That's another stuff that you got to learn. And it also made me think and see stuff differently. And it also boosted my creativity. I always wanted to be creative. So if you're a person like that, then embroidery is for you. If you don't really like getting into creativity and craftsmanship, then it's not a thing for you. It takes a lot of patience to be able to embroider and to come up with new projects. Most of the people that know a little bit about it think that it's just about, oh, that's a machine that does the work. You just press start and you work with the machine. Well, let me tell you, the machine does the work, and some machines like the one that I have do amazing work, but I'm the one, or in this case you would be the one, to tell the machine what to do and how to do it. So the human being behind embroidery, it's so important. By embroidering for almost 5 years now, I only not end up loving it so much, but it also made me realize that there's so many options out there that you could come up with embroidery, and you could also make it as your everyday job, or at least part of your everyday job, which is what I did. When we decided to reestablish high-end fashion, I wanted to get back into embroidery and bring that to the store. And the good thing about it is that you get to meet a lot of people that are really passionate about it and use it as the best way of creating something new, something custom, personalized for somebody, and it's the best gift idea that I could ever think of, an original gift idea, because you get an item that is out of the store, which is fine. That's how it works, because you cannot create everything. But you personalize it and give those final touches with embroidery. That's what makes it so you, so special, so personal, and so dedicated to the person that you are gifting it, or just giving it, or sharing it with, or a lot of forms of caring and relationships. What I would like to show you on our series of videos called Embroidery with Ola, I would like to show a little bit of beyond the history that I just shared, a little bit of how we do it in here. What is embroidery? What are some techniques? A lot of tips and tricks. And just because I self-learned it's like a self-taught gift, I really wanted to share some stuff that I didn't know where to find with you all that are trying to embroider more often, start your own business, or get more into it, or at least just have some fun, because it's also a good way to like spend your free time and have some fun and be creative and just not waste time or do nothing. So it kind of keeps you going and it makes you more motivated and more active in your everyday life, and it definitely boosts your creativity. So I would really recommend for like any age, any point of life that you're at, it would definitely be something fun to try on. I wanted to share the tips and tricks just because I told you it was hard for me to like get to where I am, and I really want to help some fellows out there that are following, and I want to know a lot more. So we be getting more into it, and I will show you on the next videos a lot of actual projects, how we work with them. The good thing about having embroidery on a local store is that you get to know the people, get to know their needs, and together we are part of the experience. So I let you get very involved on this experience with me, and that gives you the idea, and it actually is true, that you created something. So you participate on this creation, which is really beautiful. Your participation would be on the form of being able to choose your own foam, choose the colors, choose the placement of embroidery, choose the garment that you would embroider, or whatever project it is, to do it all. So I love that interaction between us and the participation that gets into the process. It's really fun, it's really cool. You just don't go out of the store, buy something, pack it, or online, which is even worse. It's fast, it's convenient, but it's even worse. You just buy something online, there's no life to the gift. I want you, and we should all be a little more creative and have a little thought into our gifting process, and also care a little more about the person that we're giving it to. Because when I think of, let's say, a family member, like husband, a friend, a mom, dad, or sister, or in-laws, whatever, or a little baby, I just think of you. I think of what would you like, and I personalize this stuff for you, like with your name, your initial, a monogram, your date of birth, your date of your anniversary, and all that. So the gift is like it's very you, it's very unique, and that's what a lot of people tend to do. And this is the new, like the new trend that we should all follow. But also, getting back to embroidery, how you would involve in this process is really fun, because what we do is we do in-house embroidery, which means I don't send back your pieces to another town and get them back in 3, 4 to who knows how many weeks. We do it in here, I put it back on the rack, you see it when you walk by if you're local, and if you're not, you probably see it on Instagram, because I post a lot of stories to update on what we're doing every day, and then you pick it up. Sometimes it's within 24 hours, sometimes it's within a week, based on like how busy the season is and I'm at the time. We try to have like the fastest turnaround time, and just because it's in-house, it makes it super fast and also more reliable, I would say. So how you would get involved in embroidery is you would pick fonts together with me. If we're talking about a name possibly, or a monogram, I put out a chart with a few common fonts, and I keep refreshing this all the time to make sure that we got the latest fonts. So this is a few, I would like show it to you. There's so on the left is all the different sizes of the letters we could monogram or embroider, and on the right is more typical fonts. So there's a lot of cute fun fonts for like babies or ladies, like it's cyan script or a brush script. It's more like a hand lettering. It's got those little curvy letters. It is also like formal. If you look into embroidery, probably your scrubs, it's got to be like a formal writing so people be able to read, but nothing too fancy or nothing too feminine or masculine at the same time, or nothing too extraordinary, I would say. It's got to be plain, simple, professional, looking sharp. So Times New Roman block, and some of these fonts are for that. So there's like a font pretty much for every purpose and every type of embroidery you're making. Another fun part is the chart. So we work with Madeira Thread, a very high-end company. It's the best out there, and this is the color chart. There's a zillions colors out there. It goes to like different shades. We work with a poly neon. Based on the project, if you're working with leather, we would go with like a bigger size needle and also a different type of thread. If you're working with silk, I mean, there's a lot of different options to choose from. So these are colors, and they update the chart like very often very often, just to make sure that we got it in the latest colors that are up there, and there's so many shades of each one. So what we do is we would take your garment, let's say this tote bag, and we would match it with probably the straps or like colors that would go together with it, and I can really be a good suggestion of how to mix and match colors. I'm really so into it, and I know which color goes with what and which doesn't. And also just by embroidering for a few years now, it just, you know how something's gonna look, because when somebody comes to the store, they look for white on white, and it might look cool as an idea to somebody that wants to keep it very neutral and very plain, doesn't want an embroidery that screams at you or it's too much. But for somebody that already embroidered for a few, knows that white on white, it just won't even show most of the cases, so you will end up with no embroidery. So yeah, there's a few like tips and tricks that I would definitely suggest, that we kind of work together and you get involved in this process. That's why I love it so much. So on my next video, I would like to show a specific project. We would be talking a lot about how to hoop, what machine to use, what hoops to use. So I personally use the fancy machine. I have an Maya XD, which is the latest technology from Melco. It's a very popular and also famous high-end company for making special embroidery machines. But you don't have to have the fancy machine necessarily. I run a business, so I have to have that to provide the best quality out there, which is what I want to do. But if you're trying to do embroidery at home, just a simple, inexpensive machine would do the trick. Obviously, you won't be for a very particular project, but if you're trying to embroider your, let's say, your slip covers or your pillows or your baby blanket or something, even a fine regular machine would do it, just as long as you're into it and you try to be creative. I would show you a little bit about embroidery supplies as well, because it's so important to work with the right backing, a right topping. There's like layers that you put into the embroidery. Different materials require different topping and backing in order to get like that good embroidery. We also want to talk a little bit about 3D embroidery. What is that? Why is it so famous on baseball caps? Why does it look so good? Why is it a little more complicated than regular embroidery and all that? And also about hooping, which is so important. I'll show you a few different hoops. At the moment, I have it right here. We use the Mighty hoop. This is a magnetic hoop. It will be very dangerous if you do not properly use it. So before getting one of this or before working with one of this, I would definitely recommend just do some reading and research, because the magnet is pretty strong and dangerous sometimes. But on the other hand, it's the best hoop out there that you could get. It fits perfectly with any surface. It would make any embroidery job fun and a lot more easier, especially the the hard surfaces, the one that you cannot get into it. So for all this and a lot more, I'll be so happy to share with you a lot of tips and tricks. Make sure you subscribe to Fatima and Ola Fashion Workshop. Make sure you follow these videos, and make sure you comment below whatever question you might have about embroidery, about techniques, about how I started, about this, about that. It's all up to you. Make questions. I'll be so happy to take a look at them and answer in the next videos. This was just a video to show you a little bit of who I am and what we'll be doing today. I hope you find this interesting. I really hope you don't miss it, because there's a lot coming up, and I would really like to get more particular and more into details and showing you how, what to do, and which is the right way to do it. Based on my personal experience, I'm here to help, to share, and to encourage each and every one of you. I self-learned it, you could too. I'm learning a lot every day, you could too, and I'm improving a lot every day, and so can you. So don't let anybody say you cannot do it. You can make it as your income if you wanted to, as a money machine. Embroidery can be a money machine as well, not just embroidery machine. So it's up to you what your goal is, but it can also be like a stress relief and fun activities. So whatever your purpose is, this videos would help you go through with it. Would help you reach your goals, and I'm pretty sure we'll share a lot together, and we created like a community here, so we could talk about our passion, but it also our challenges, because it's not just a passion, it's also a challenge when you're not able to do it right the first time, and you probably won't be. Nothing comes easy, but as long as you try, you're willing to try, and there's something out there to like even help you out or encourage or motivate you, you'll be able to reach your goals and get there. So thanks for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe, stay tuned. I promise a lot more fun stuff with embroidery. We'll get into real projects. As you see on the background, there's a few that I just did recently. This is a tote bag, which is a sew-in project right now, and this is a bathrobe with a monogram on it, or a nightgown. So make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, and I'm happy to share a lot more. See you on the next video.